just listening to this interview today, I'd like to welcome Gabor Tarkovi from Berlin and Jack Burt from Maine. So Jack is going to help us out a little bit today because my German's not so good at all. So,
no. Sorry for my English.
Oh, so, no, your English is quite good.
At the beginning. No. I try to learn, but I teach a lot. So I have no time to learn. But
Gabor, how have you been during the coronavirus? Have you stayed busy? And
No, I was not busy, but I teach every week. I have every week one day. This was Tuesday. We have a warm up together with my students. We talking about the situation. Some students, from the students, 18% was not in Berlin. Only 3 guys was in Berlin. I was in Hungary until June. And so I try to teach. We have 3 days in the week. Some days I teach from morning 10 to evening 7 with iPad and I try to listening what I heard, but I have also only a mobile WLAN, mobile Wi-Fi. It was not very fast.
Right.
But I try to help. I try to motivation. But the time is not finished.
Yes.
So now the semester in the year in Berlin beginning on the 2nd November. But I stay now in Berlin. I teach pre-semester. I teach now 2 months before the semester because I think maybe we have a second lockdown that I see my students 2 months long. So I teach only today from 9 to 9. It's a good work. I have 60 students, 6 new students, and I like to.
You like to teach?
To teach.
How many did you say total? You had 6 or 16?
16. I have 6 new.
Okay.
6 young, and 2 young, 2 in the middle, 2 older, but for master.
Yes.
But two young guys, and he stay here, and we beginning to work. It's very important. So with the basics, and tomorrow morning I go to warm-ups together, and yes.
That's good. That's excellent. Well, and I'm going to ask you more about teaching a little later. But I wanted, because a lot of people in the United States know who you are because of the Digital Concert Hall, but I don't know if they know your background as much. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Can you talk about how you started in music, and I know your father and grandfather taught you trumpet, right?
Yes. So in my family, I was child, very young. Music was very normal. So my grandfather was the first music teacher in the small town in Hungary. So my very early time, before 300 years, come my family from Austria and from Germany to Hungary. So my name was not Tarkovi, it was Queens and Hilbert. So the tradition in my family was the same music that you have in Austria. And we playing many polkas, many march, many waltzers, and that was a tradition. And my family have also a small group for weddings. And my father play weddings, my brother, my grandfather. So music was normal. And the first instrument that I learned was piano, because everyone, I was 6 years old, I play a home trumpet, but my father said me not go and learn trumpet in the school, music school. But every friend from me go, if I was 6 in the music school. So I think after the first school day, I go also the music school. But it was only free place on piano. But I think, okay, then I learn piano. This is no problem.
Yep.
I go home and I tell my parents, so I learn now piano. But my parents said, we have no piano, we have only accordion. So then I said, okay, then I practice with accordion. So I played 2 years piano and accordion, and then clarinet. Well, my father said, we have enough trumpet players. So in the family, you have to learn clarinet and saxophone. You can play, you not, your embouchure is every time enough, but saxophone is not so difficult. But I like not very much the clarinet, and then I was 10 years old. Then I beginning official with the trumpet, and that was a very, very nice time for me. I play my instrument, and I play my first wedding with my father. I was 12, so I play from the evening to the morning, and then this was so dancing evening.
Yeah.
So that was very, very important, and this was my first influence with the music. But music was in my home, so everyone play music. My mother singing choir, and so, and my brother was a very good trumpet player. Is a very good trumpet player, and he learned in the school, in a gymnasium.
Yeah.
And then he come every weekend home and tell me the news, or we play warm-ups together. This was the first very important influence.
Wow. Did you continue to play piano for a little bit, or just no?
No. I forget everything. I like piano, but you have to learn. Piano have one very, very good things.
Yes.
If you not practice 1 year long and you put one note, it's the sound for a piano. If you play trumpet 1 year's not, you have not the sound for the trumpet. This is by piano very, very important.
Yes.
But the technique and some things is complicated.
Complicated. But we're all glad that you got rid of the clarinet, though.
Yeah.
No one can blame you for getting rid of the clarinet ever.
Yeah.
So you played wedding bands, and I know you've told me before that you guys just would play all day, right? You're just constantly playing at weddings. Does that mean polkas and marches and party music?
Yeah. If I was between 14 and 18, I was in gymnasium. But if I was 16, 17, 18, I play a lot of weekends, weddings, or dancing parties with this traditional music. And I think this was very, very good for my embouchure. Well, you have to play maybe 10 or 12 or 14 hours. And it's not possible to play. But you learn to play with a minimal press.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Your embouchure is pain.
Yes.
After 3-4 hours, pain everything. So you have to, you singing with a trumpet, but not to press. And then this was a very, very good school for me with the air. That you have the compensation, the press for outside with the compensation for the air from inside.
Yes.
And you cannot play very high, you cannot play very loud, but you can play. And this was in a small group. We play with drum, accordion, euphonium, saxophone, and trumpet. This was a small band.
Yes.
And we I am not, but colleagues singing a lot. So this was a normal traditional music. And I learned a lot from this time. That was very important also for me. If you play a wedding and you play beautiful, you play beautiful music, so everyone is happy. You have 100, 150 people. If you play not beautiful music, everyone is after 30 minutes angry of you. So you have to play every music. We play also sometimes rock music or disco music or so also polka, waltz. But we have to play every music, every style good.
Yes.
And this was a good school.
And this is when you were a teenager. And I don't think, could you, maybe Jack, you could help with this. Explain the difference, what a gymnasium is in Europe.
Gymnasium is kind of like high school. Man geht aus dem Gymnasium 18.
Yeah.
So 18, you graduated 18, so it's like high school.
Yeah, with 18 you finish, and then you go to the university, Hochschule, or the
high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's confusing in English when Gabor teaches at the Hochschule in Berlin. That's a university.
Right.
A high school is literally a university, and a gymnasium, the gymnasium, is the high school. If you think in terms of words that look like they mean something in English but don't.
Right. Right. And while you were at gymnasium, you practiced a lot. I know you talked about that played all day, right?
Yeah, because I coming from a small town, and the gymnasium was 100 kilometers from me, so maybe 60 miles. But I live not at home. I go not every day to the school. So I go Sunday to the city. I go Friday back in my town. So I have also homesickness in the beginning, and I was 40 years old, so small guy. I have one possibilities, but also tell my father me, you have to practice. You have to practice from the morning to the evening. This is maybe your future.
Yeah.
If you not practice after, you cannot practice what you not practice a day. So every day you have practiced so lot what you can. So good. We also with my colleagues, we practice a lot. Yeah. We play also soccer, or we have many joy. But we stay in the school until 9 in the evening.
Yeah.
From the morning 7. Wow. That was very, very clear. And it was very interesting. I play with the orchestra from this city, a solo. I think Haydn or Hummel. After 10 years that I finish in the school. Mm-hmm. And this was very interesting. I see the city in the light on the day. And I was, this is a nice city. I see never in 4 years long, I see never in the day. I go morning in the school, maybe 7, I work, and I come back, it was not light. And this was really a good, very nice city. If I sit now there, I think every day, so nice city. But 4 years long, I see nothing for the city. Right. Only a normal bar after the practice. We go together with all friends in a pub. We're drinking some beers, but the city, the church or the I see not a lot.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is dedication for sure.
Oh.
And after gymnasium, you went to the Liszt, is it Philharmonic Academy, right?
Yeah. It is in this time was 2 schools. This was Liszt Academy, And this was the school, also Liszt Academy, but only for teachers. Liszt Academy was the highest level, and for teachers was one level deeper. And I play for the Liszt Academy, but I win not a place. I win a place in the teaching school. Okay. You have a school for teacher for teaching for small guys or small people, young people. Yes. And so, but my luck was in this school was, I think, the best teacher in Hungary. It was Gabor Geiger. Yes. Geiger György. And he teach in this school. And that was my luck. He was solo trumpet player in the radio orchestra. And I play a lot with he. Substitute in the radio. And I learned in these 3 years with Geiger a lot. And after these 3 years with Geiger, I have a place in the Music Academy, in the very famous Liszt Academy. Right. But I learned only 1 year. And after 1 year, I have a job in Germany. That was 91. I have my first job in Reutlingen.
So what can you talk a little bit about Geiger and what he would work on with you? Probably a lot of basics, I guess.
Yeah. Geiger was not interesting for basics. He was a musician. And if I tell questions about embouchure, he's like, play. He was not a very embouchure technical, right. But if you give not a lot air and your sound was small, he tell me, play louder, play. And he was very precise in rhythmic. The rhythmical, he was very, very precise. And he was interesting for the personality, for the music. Yes. He tell me, he can play, he have not to play to me, but he have to play for publicum. And if you play boring, never interesting what you play. So you have every note you have projected to the publicum. And he was very strong. Maybe we have to play scales. Every Monday's morning was scales. After the third mistakes, you go out automatically. It says after the second mistakes, if you have griff mistakes, maybe you have fismol. Yeah. And you have to play one scale with 8 variations. And if you have a mistake in the third variations with okay. Then he said, again. You have again. Then he said, this was 2. By third mistakes, he said, you have to practice a lot. He was very friendly. Yes. But that was the finish, you class. And if you tell, yeah, but I have also a Etude. So, and he said, yes, this is good. Next time after the fismol. So
F sharp minor.
Yeah, after the scale.
Yeah.
And then you go out. So that was the class on Monday. But Thursday was with piano and was with a piece. And that was normal. Everyone have a Thursday class, but Monday was scale. And after the scale, you have to play the etudes and some things also, except I play. But we practice every day, maybe 1-2 hours, only scales. And this was crazy. Wow. But I asked Geiger before 1 year, Yuri, this was a hard school. And he said me, the life is a hard school. if you have 3 mistakes in Petrushka, then you lost with the conductor. So, but he was with me. He was every time very friendly. With some students, the students come in the door.
Yes.
In the class, in the room, and he tell, B major, and the students was, okay, next week, and the students go out. This was only this. Okay, next week, broom, out. So,
how many students were with you in school?
by Geiger.
Yes, with how many
We was only
colleagues?
3 or 4.
3 or 4.
We have only every year. The school was 3 years, and a lot of time we was 3. So every year's 1.
So you had a lot of attention with him, a lot of time.
Yeah. But. Yeah. He teach the other students. I have very luck with he. Well, I practice a lot, but the other 2 guy, or one time was also a girl. That was only 20 minutes class, because the other students practice not enough.
Not enough. Wow. And then you got a job. Was it in Reutenberg, am I saying that right? Where was your first position?
Yeah.
Reutenberg, right?
Reutlingen.
Yeah.
Reutlinger. So
yes.
how old were you when you won that position?
No, I was 22.
22.
This was 91. Yes, it was a luck. And yeah, I played very good. I think Haydn concert was okay, but I practiced not a lot the accepts. Some accepts I play good, some accepts I can't play. Maybe Bartok concert for orchestra, I have big mistakes in the audition. But what I play good, that was a high level.
Yeah.
And the orchestra think that was not a solo trumpet job. That was a co-principal, but we was only 3 trumpets. I play every part. And that was my first job, and this was important that I have my money, that I stay off my food, and it was good. But we work a lot, maybe 2, 3, 4 concerts on the weeks with rehearsals. I have not so lot of time to practice, and I practice a lot of time after the concerts in the evenings then.
Yes.
And then yeah, I was very lucky that I win the job in Berlin Symphony Orchestra. This was a big orchestra. That was my second job in Germany. This was in Berlin, and this was a very famous orchestra in East Berlin, in East Germany.
Right.
In this orchestra was long time the chief conductor Kurt Sanderling. He was a very, very big conductor. He have very, very good recordings also for Shostakovich Symphony, yes, and for lot of repertoire. I play 2, 3 times with him. He was very, very strong with the trumpets. Very, very not friendly, but he was he learned in St. Petersburg by Mariinsky.
Right. Right.
He was assistant for Mariinsky. And but this was a very, very good orchestra for me to beginning to play really solo trumpet. And I have very, very good colleagues, trumpet players colleagues, and I learn a lot from these colleagues and in this orchestra. And
that was not too long after. Was that 1994? Am I right about that? When you got that job?
1994 to 2000s.
So you were in East Berlin only a few years after the wall came down.
Yeah, but and and everyone from the orchestra was from East Berlin. I was the first, and one cello player. One cello player come from Denmark, and I come from Hungary. And I was the first member from the orchestra that I live in West Berlin. So, but only after 3-4 months, I searched a new apartment, and this was in West Berlin. And this was not so normal for the colleagues. And some colleagues, also after 10 years, the war breaking, go never in the West Berlin. If we have a job, maybe Christmas oratorio, we play in a church in West Berlin. And I tell, you know the church? It's like, no. Yeah, so you go straight and go. But in this time we have no navigation system.
Yeah, navigation. Yes.
But that was true. But now I have many contact with these colleagues, was funny guys. But today it's the same.
They still stay in the East.
Yes, it's the same. But in East Berlin, he have his life in East Berlin. And East Berlin is now very cool.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is very, very cool. But these friends stay in East Berlin. Yeah.
Gabor,
Yeah.
how long was the wall standing? When was the wall actually all gone?
But the war coming, I think, 61, 13 August. And official was 89.
Yeah.
But
but the entire wall, when did it finally go away? It took time, didn't it?
Also 94, you have more war. Also,
yeah.
We go with the colleagues one times with a car, and I like to see the wall. In the centrum, we have no wall.
Yeah.
But you have many parts in Berlin. In also 94, you have the wall. So now we have, so it is touristical, interesting, some places with a wall. But wall you have also between the streets. You have a street, and the wall was middle the street. So one part was east, one part was west. And the wall was middle on the street, and the street was only maybe 25 meters. But, and this was very, very strange. You have many movies about the situation, but we have in Hungary never war, but we have also the communism, and it was not so middle on the 80s. If you like to go to Germany, to West Germany or Austria, you have to go with a passport, and you can't go every year. You can't go in 3 years one time. Then with visa, and this was complicated. If you was a famous actor, or you can go, or you can't go. It was on a political. It was a strange time, but in Berlin was very, very neat. Both systems.
In a way, you could say that the wall was still there for your colleagues in some ways. Because they didn't travel.
Yeah. In Berlin Symphony Orchestra was the situation. Many colleagues was in Berlin in July and August, and many colleagues see that the war coming, and go in the west part. And beginning the season, 61, was only the half orchestra there. And then coming Sanderling. Then the political members asked Sanderling, you have a big chance, you can make a new orchestra. And many members in Berlin Symphony Orchestra beginning to work 61, 62, 63. And these members was before the retires time, if I beginning 94. This was very, very good colleagues, very funny guys. And also I have a second trumpeter. He beginning also, he play for Sanderling, the audition, not for the trumpet groups. Sanderling sitting alone there, and he have to play Haydn, but accepts Shostakovich Symphony. And Sanderling said, oh yeah, Wilhelm Tell, and second Brahms, and this, and less playing. And he was alone in the audition.
Wow.
Wow.
Do you remember what pieces you played for Sanderling? You said only a few times, right? How often did you play for Kurt Sanderling?
I play only 3 or 4 times. One time I play second Brahms, and this was crazy. This was too loud, and yeah,
Any
3, 4 times.
Did you play?
Shostakovich we played the 15th with the chorals.
Yes.
With the mutes, and he was angry. This was not enough less. And in one rehearsal we play 45 minutes only brass.
Ouch.
And if we have we was a little more nervous, and we have so we was very nervous with the trumpet players. He was, I like not vibrato. But it was not vibrato, we was nervous. But young colleagues, I like not vibrato.
His son.
Yeah. He was angry, but I have a very nice story with Sanderling. I was 2 years long. I have 2 jobs. I have the Munich, the Bavarian Broadcasting Orchestra, with Mazel was the chief conductor. And we play with Sanderling, he was guest conductor, Bruckner 7, 1 week long. In the same time, I was also solo trumpet player in the Berlin Symphony Orchestra. So I played both jobs. And in this week, before the solo in third movements, bom, bim, bim, bam, he tell me maybe 10 minutes about this solo. Yeah, young man, you have to play, you call God, and okay, then I play pom, 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 pom. We play 3 concerts. The last concert was Sunday. Monday morning was rehearsal in Berlin Symphony Orchestra with Bruckner 7. So after the concerts, I go in my car, driving to Berlin, and I sitting there. And Sanderling come in, and look, but he not think that this is the same. But and then in the third movement, the young colleague, and I tell Maestro, I know the story. I play last week in Munich. And he tell me, oh my God, thank you. Because I think 1 hour long, this is the same trumpet player. I am so old, he was 90. So every solo trumpeter have the same face. It was very nice. He was very friendly. In Bruckner, he was every time very friendly, but this was a nice story with Sanderling.
That's great.
So we'll make sure people understood. You were playing. You were on your trial period with Bavarian Radio at the same time you were in Berlin Symphony, and you later did the same thing with Bavarian Radio and Berlin Philharmonic. crazy. How did you manage that?
Yeah, it's important that you have good colleagues, nice colleagues. This is the first. And that you have good schedule. And so playing every week. So in US, so play many solo trumpet players play maybe many weeks. And it was for me more quiet to know I have a job.
Mm-hmm.
In Germany, is the trier is a crazy time. So all trumpet players know. So if you have Zarathustra or some pieces and you have a mistake, you have negative votings in orchestra, because many colleagues in orchestra not like mistakes, but every trumpet player have mistakes. It's good if you have in trier no big mistakes. But maybe beginning my trier in Munich was a program with Marcel. That was Domestica and Zarathustra in one concert. So, and in the first 2 years in the triers was Marcel not friendly. He was very strong. And so I have in this time family. I have also one child, and I have to I have to stay for my family. I cannot go on the street after the trial. So for me it was more quiet. I have my job. I go to Munich. I play my level. If my level is enough, then I change. But this is also a good story. I play 2 years with Marcel. I play many difficult pieces, and this was good. And then Marcel was not there 2 months long, and he came back. And the first piece that I play was Gustav Mahler, Das Lied von Erde.
Mm-hmm.
And this was with recording, Waltraud Meyer singing also. This was very good project. And the orchestra liked voting about me. All members of the orchestra was positive for me. And the chairman from the orchestra go to Marcel and think, Maestro, we very like about Gabor. We like voting today. And it was the first rehearsal day. And Marcel said, I like to wait. But he play in the Das Lied von Erde. You know the solo in the first movement. And so I played the first rehearsal. It was good. And every colleague was, bravo, bravo. And I said, good. And then I played the first concert, so every colleague was so happy. And then next day morning was next day morning was recording, normal recording. In the evening was concert. But next morning, before the recording, was voting. And so then coming the colleagues, Gabor, this is everything okay? You have your trier is positive. And I think, okay, thank you. And then tell me the trumpet colleagues, oh, Marcel was angry. Huh? So he was, to the last minutes, it was trier. But after my trier, he was very, very fine. He was friendly. He was very, very fine.
Yeah.
But this trier is in Germany, it is difficult. And then if I win the job in Berlin Philharmonic, I play the same. But in this year, this 1.5 year, I have the trier only 12 months in Philharmonic. And in these 12 months, we have not too heavy programs in Munich. And I have a very good colleagues with Hannes Leubin. If we have big programs, Hannes played it. So it was more easy.
Oh, that's good. Now, and this was, and going backwards just a little bit, you had met Hans Gansch before Bavarian Radio, right?
Yeah. It was the time if I beginning to play in Berlin Symphony Orchestra. This was 95. The Vienna Philharmonic coming 4 or 5 times every season to Berlin, also to Konzerthaus. This is former East Berlin. This was a house for my orchestra. And one day I look on the schedule and I see Wiener Philharmoniker Subimeta Sinfonia Domestica. And I look, I go home and then I go back with my wife. We try to stay in the house. We have no tickets. This was very, very expensive. And we see the concert, we listening the concert, and this was crazy. This was so good. I heard never some people to play in this level with the rotary trumpets, because I come with I learn in Hungary with the piston trumpets. And I was with mine playing with the rotary trumpets, not very lucky. And then I think you can play with the rotary trumpets good in orchestra, but you cannot play music. This was for me clear. This is only a working instrument. Music, you can play with the pistons or with Perrine instruments. I think it really did that, but I have to work some days also with rotary. And then I listen in Hans and I think, oh, this is beautiful and I like it. And then after the concert, I go to Hans and I ask him, can we drinking a beer together? And that was the beginning of our friendship. And he tell me, yeah, you can come to a lesson to Vienna, maybe in the opera. And then after 4 days, I go with a car from Berlin to Vienna. And this was my first lesson. And then after my first lesson, I go 6 months not, because I recording my lesson, and the difference from Hans playing and to my playing was so big that I think it's not important that I go. I can listening my recording is a very, very big difference. So I sell Hans trumpets. This was in this time a Yamaha rotary trumpet and his manspiece. This was a Yamaha 15E4 manspiece. And I tried to play with this constellation. And the first study was maybe in April. The next study was in October. And then in the next study, Hans said me, yeah, that is a level. And then we play a lot of time in pro brass together in the brass ensemble. And this was nice. Hans was a very important influence for me with the rotary trumpets, because in Hungary, in this time, nobody play good with the rotary trumpets.
How did he have you work into the rotary trumpet off of the piston? Do you remember anything he said, or?
Jack, kannst du das sagen? Weil ich habe verstanden, aber ganz pünktlich.
Ja, wie hat er mit den Drehventil gelehrt? Was hat er mit dir gemacht, um Drehventil zu lernen?
So the first steps was I heard Hans playing. I heard his articulating. I heard his slurs. And now I know the airflow is different in the rotary to the piston. This is very different. And you have to, it is very important that you have the good manspiece. And I play in this time with a Breselmeier, but that was a copy from the Vernon Pack 1/4 C in this time. This was a Bachmann's piece.
The Bach mouthpiece.
And the backbore was not so big that you have a good sound in the rotary. So if I play mezzo forte, it was good. If I play forte, the sound was too bright and not round enough. And Hans said me, it's possible to play with your manspiece, but play with my manspiece. And he gave his manspiece. And this was directly rounder and the articulation was clearer. And this was the first step. After I listening a lot of recordings, and my luck was that I can't listening Hans in live. His slurs, his attacks, that was his teaching. So we was in this summer sailing one week long in Croatia, and we play a lot of time together. And I think one day I learned every minute from Hans.
Yeah.
He is so funny by playing, and now he have so joy that he play high notes, and he tell me, yeah, if you put in the focus a little more, then you can more try to. No, he have the same interesting. He have now is I think 67, or he have the same enthusiastic the young men, and this was every time also for me important that he's a trumpet player.
Yeah.
And he like play better. every day is better.
Mark, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Gabor, if you are one of the few people that is equal in piston and rotary, because you grew up playing piston and you made your career playing rotary, can you describe the difference in the air between what you do with the air between those two horns? Because in America, many Americans are now playing rotary trumpet a lot in orchestra, and they struggle with how to change how they blow between the regular Bach or Yamaha piston and a good rotary trumpet. What do you think is the difference?
We have the difference in the airflow and a little in a manspiece. This is maybe if you drive a normal car with a piston and you drive a truck. Maybe the airflow is important, that you have not too fast airflow in the piston. Your lead pipe is not so big and is longer. If you give the air, the projection is very important also in both trumpets. But the airflow is important, that you have a long way in the pistons. But the lead pipe is only this in the maybe 14 centimeters in the rotary, and is bigger. You have to try the sound is more bigger. Piston is more centrum, more long. But the projection you air is the same. But if I have a new student and he come from the piston, I think until now you're driving a Mercedes and now you drive a truck. Only for the airflow. As is not also a truck to driving is possible. But the airflow is a little more bigger. And then because your backbore in the manspiece is also bigger. That is the playing with the airflow. With the car is only an example for the picture, but this is maybe a little too big difference. It is not so big different, but it is different. And if you play maybe concones or vocalises with both trumpets, it is different. That if you play the optimal sound for the rotary. And also in Germany, we have so many trumpet players and so many trumpet makers. The difference from the rotary trumpet makers is much bigger to the different in the piston makers. Maybe a Yamaha, Bach, Getzen, or also Olds or Bench. It is not a very big difference. Maybe if you have a Monet, it is bigger. But the standard trumpets is maybe the same. But in rotary, if you have a Tyne, or you have a Dovitz, or you have a Weimann, or a Schager, or a Lechner, the difference from the instruments is much bigger. So I was not a very strong player former. If I was student, I play also a normal Bach in Hungary. This was 37. This was enough big for me. So if I try to play with the rotary trumpets, this was very very important for me, that I have also the same size, that I think the sound is in the head, and I make with that was also from Hans. You make the sound with a manspiece and with your lips, not with the trumpets. The trumpet help you. So I try to play not so big instruments, but also the tradition with the new instruments is new. We have now many good makers for the rotary trumpets. Before 30 years, you have Monke or Lechner. This was good makers, but you have two choice. You have also Ganter. It was not so famous, but Lechner and Monke was good. And now you have 10, 12 good makers.
And I'll come back to the orchestra side of things, but while we're talking about horns, how did you find your way into Chagall?
That was hard. This was 95, maybe. We was together with Probras in Austria tour, and we stay in Mank, and Hans said tell me, come, we go to Chagall. Maybe we try the trumpets. And then I think 1 year later, 96 was the first good B and C trumpets. And then I have both to try. And we played beginning the season in Berlin Symphony, Mahler 7 with Michael Gillen. And I tried to play with the Chagalls, and this was very, very good. And then from this moment, I play with the Chagall instruments. For me, it was a big luck that the Chagalls make an instrument between Lechner, between Monke. The sound was bigger for me to Lechner, and this was more flexible to Monke. And this was a luck for me, because I think I make not the same career not with a Chagall instrument. Chagall come in a good moment. Until 2003, 2004 was the concurrent makers maybe was not so good, not so. The level of the instruments was not so good. It's coming later. Now was very good. But in this time I was very, very lucky that Chagall make the best trumpets for me.
Yeah, that's a good advertisement. Maybe I'd have my career the same if I had not the Chagall.
But instruments is immer subjective. This is
Subjective, yes.
it's the subjective. It's the feeling, and that what you can play for you music, that you can give you music to the audience.
Yeah.
Some people play this with time or with ricocule, chromat. So very, very good makers.
So and you've been working on you've worked on new instruments with them recently, right? I mean, the past few years you've kind of developed the Berlin Heavy. That's the horn you've worked on a bit?
Yeah, we work a lot because Shaker make the machines self. Former was Zimbauer, the valves, and this was a big change. And we're working a lot. I think now the B and the C trumpets from the Berlin model, we have a good level. I think we can make better. I have some ideas. I was last weekend to testing, but I am lucky with this with the stand, the trumpet.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit to go back to the orchestra. Let's talk about your audition for the Berlin Philharmonic. Can you kind of describe how that, first of all, for people in the United States, can you talk about maybe the differences? Because here there would be a screen in the first round or two, and there would be a committee that votes and the music director, but it's not that way in Germany, is it?
In Berlin, is the music director not in the audition? Simon Redley was not there. I think we were so 25 people.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first round is only Haydn concerto, maybe first and second movements. And then we was only 3 people in the second round. In the second round, you have to play the standards, except so maybe Signals and Mahler Fifth Symphony, Petrushka, Parsifal, Alpine Symphony, Ravel, and maybe Bartok. So this is the except. And I play the first round very good, the second round not. I have some mistakes. And then we was in the third round, we was 2. And then was only Mahler third, the Pastor solo, and Don Juan. And then I have the luck to win, but I was not very happy because if you win, this is the beginning, you try here. You win the job if you have the try here. And I know that Berlin Philharmonic is not a very, very simple orchestra. So you have so many good musicians. You have 128 best musician and 128 heads. And every head have his main to you playing. And I see that also in my trial. So you have some orchestras, if you have a tutti strings players, he sing not, I go now to the solo trumpet players and I tell he what I lack and what I not lack. But in Berlin, you can have it. So it was the beginning. If I win the job, this was the beginning, the trial. I was very, very lucky if I win the trial. That was the finish. And I am very lucky that we have a very good group. I played with Martin Kretze and with Georg Hilse a lot of time. And this was a very good atmosphere. Both men play so very high level that I learn every day some things. And we was close friend. This was my luck. Because in these orchestras, the stress level is higher. If you have not a good group, you're fighting with the notes, you're fighting with the stress, you're fighting with the colleagues a little. This is too much fighting. It is enough that you go in the orchestra and you play. This is enough difficult. But I was 15 years in this orchestra. I learned a lot from the strings, from the wonderful woodwinds, and also from my brass colleagues. And I am very lucky that I have these 15 years.
How would you, now when you first got in, the digital concert hall did not exist, right? There was no digital concert hall. How do you feel that changed the comfort of the orchestra? Did it make it more stressful, or what was your feeling when that had started?
I think I was not so happy for the beginning. Also after, I was not so happy for digital concert hall. But for some colleagues was no problem. So I was good friends from the woodwinds also. And I asked one time after the concert, have you more stress or not? And he said, no, this is not interesting. For me beginning was more, but then it was normal. But the inside level was higher.
The stress in yourself.
Yeah, the stress level was higher, and but you learn to play with this level, and it was a very good control. So you know what you have in archive is a version to cut. You have the live recordings,
mm-hmm.
and if you have mistakes or you are not together with the orchestra, then you listening the live recording and you write for the sound master.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this solo was in the second day better. Please cut it.
Oh.
So, but I listening every concert because I know what you have in archive, you can make a DVD. In the beginning time was not, we talk not about this. It was only archive. But I tell the colleagues of every concert, I think in 10 years, this is a DVD. And I control everything. But maybe now we have a DVD, 3 DVDs, maybe Male 1, Male 7, Male 9 with Rettel, or Male 3. This was not a talking if we playing the concerts, because you have no retakes. You have only the 3 concerts. And if you have one part, is every concert wrong, then you have it is not so good.
Yep.
So I learn a lot if I listening myself. So I have sometimes some technical problems, and then I can listening. That you can listening. That is then I practice every time in the other way, or it was very, very learnful for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was more learnful for me, digital concert hall, do stress.
Right.
That was because in Berlin Symphony, in Berlin Philharmonic, you learn from the conductor not so much, because every conductor is coming and is very friendly. You play your level, and with this level, everyone is friendly. Maybe sometimes coming conductors, maybe Riccardo Muti said more or less, or more legato, but if we do that, it's also very good. But you can a lot of learn if you're listening your recordings and you said, this is too much, or this is not exact, or the rhythmical is not enough rhythmical. Then we learn a lot.
Well, speaking of guest conductors, who were some of your favorite guest conductors to play for? Who did you enjoy on the podium as a guest?
Yeah, it was Bernard Haitink. He was for me the best.
Yeah.
I play maybe 10, 12 times with Haitink, but the last one was Mahler 9, and this was very, very, very warm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this was a nice moment. And also with Zubin Mehta and yeah.
The Zubin Mehta, if people who are watching and had the digital concert hall, they should hear your Blumina solo with Zubin Mehta. It's very beautiful.
He was nice. But Blumina is not a big solo, but if you play that in first Mahler, it is not so comfortable. A lot of time, Blumina extra. This was only one movement. It was nice to play, but in the first Mahler, it was not so simple. I concentrated a lot. Okay, and also other colleagues tell me the same. So alone Blumina is wonderful. Blumina in first Mahler is wonderful, but you have to concentrate.
Yeah. If some people are watching, the Blumina movement is a movement that Mahler decided to get rid of, and it sometimes is played within the piece, but often, like what you described, it's sort of like a separate piece almost on the program.
Yeah.
So what did you play that on, by the way? Was that the C trumpet or was that E flat trumpet? How did you?
No, but Blumina, I played that with C trumpet.
C trumpet, that's what I thought. So what other guest conductors did you like? Do you remember some others? Mehta, you mentioned.
We have a lot. I play a lot of time also with Seiji Ozawa.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's where I met you with the Sado Kain when we met the first time.
With Saito Kinen, he invited me. He conducting 2 or 3 times in Berlin, and then he invited me to Japan to the Saito Kinen, and then in Saito Kinen I play a lot of time with him. This was also a nice time. From the young conductors was Gustavo Dudamel, or it was or Nizet Sagan was very, 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 very good. So in Berlin was the nice moments was with old conductors. So that was a long friendship that he can conducting. And if Haitink come on the stage, all the orchestra was, and it was very quiet. It was perfect to musicians. It was a perfect atmosphere, and I liked it. By young conductors, the orchestra is a little stronger, and the atmosphere is sometimes not optimal. But this is every time this. But the same situation. But with Mehta or with Haitink or with Ozawa was Also Ricardo Schai was there. Was wonderful concerts. Was not so lot of times. But I play with Simon Rattle the 50 years in Berlin. And I have a very, very, very good time with Simon, and I was very, very thankful to Simon. He was very friendly.
Yes.
He was friendly. If we play a little too loud, he tell me very friendly, 20 minutes is too loud. So, okay, then we play more or less. But it was no fighting, never fighting. and that was, I am very thankful about this. That was, my life was more relaxed.
Yeah.
If you have a conductor that you're fighting every day, he think you play too loud or you play too less, and your intonation is bad, then you're fighting every day with this moment. And every time the conductors win, you cannot win with the conductors.
That's true. That's true.
This is the game machine in the. You never win. You can't win one day, but.
Now, and you were also, of course, there with the transition from Rattle to Petrenko. Can you talk about that transition between the new music directors?
I play only 3 times with Petrenko. I was very happy that he came, and then I played the first concert that he conducting with Berlin. Maybe Tchaikovsky 6 was. It was very, very good. And then I played the Schmidt Symphony, Schmidt 4. That was 2 times. And then.
It was a Mahler 6. Did you play a Mahler 6?
No, that played Guillaume.
Oh, yeah.
That was after me. So I think the time with Petrenko coming now. Now we have a bad situation with the Corona, with the COVID.
Yes. And
I have today rehearsal with 2 colleagues with trombone and horn. We play trio, and it's bad. It is the best conductor, the very good orchestra, and he play only Dvorak 5th Symphony and Brahms 4th Symphony, and for the brass, is nothing. And maybe he have to wait 1 or 2 years to the next big Mahler symphony or the next Bruckner.
Yeah.
And I hope that the situation changes, that we can play for publicum, but now the situation is more
smaller,
more to mute.
Was there do you remember what it was about Petrenko that made the musicians get behind him to be the new music director? What did they like? What was the highlight?
Petrenko have 100% a vision from the piece, 100%. And you know this vision in the first moments to the rehearsal. He conducting very clear. This is very helpful, and it's 100% music what he sing. It is never person. I think after a very, very good concert with the orchestra, he think we can do that better. And this idea is important. But for trumpet players, is sometimes not helpful. You know, if I conductor, also Petrenko, listening a very big mistake for the trumpet players, he is in shock. And he tell me by maybe a story. I can't tell he well is friendly, but we play 3 times the Mahler, the Schmidt Symphony. You know, the beginning is alone, and then was a break, and after the summer in the first tour we play again. And first time we recorded this for Digital Concert Hall. Maybe it's also a DVD in 3-4 years. And Petrenko listening a lot of time this recording. And in the recording I play not very less the less C. oh, re, ra. You play alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then he come to me before the first rehearsal, very, very nice on my place. And he tell me, Gabor, this is very, very nice. And can you play this C more or less? And I think, okay, I can try it. But please conducting exactly, because if I have no notes, only that I know which note I have, which bar I have. Yeah. And he said, which notes? It's like, if I try play very, very less, maybe come only air without note. But after I play again, and he tell, good. He go, and I try to play more or less in the rehearsal, and he was after the notes every time. he was full in stress. So sometimes I think the conductors have big ideas, but we have to play with the airflow and with the lips, and if you have a strange concert, and then come your nervosity. You play with the concert in Lucerne was live in TV and recording. Then one trumpet players know what you can play and what you cannot play. And I think Simon Rattle have 100% respect from you playing, if you play in the stress situation. And I think Kirill Petrenko is a little younger, and he have very, very strange ideals. Very, very difficult ideals for the trumpet players. Right. And I think in 30 or 40 years, he's more relaxed with the trumpets. But now he tell me many times, so can you play this and this? And I think, okay, we can try it, but in concert we have and never would like her mistakes. So
he was big into the you taking the risk and it better work, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So after so many years of playing in that orchestra and thousands of concerts, are there any concerts that stick out in your mind as some of your favorite performances?
Yeah, clear. This was the fifth Mahler. This was in Berlin Symphony Orchestra. But I have many good concerts in Munich with Riccardo Muti, with Marcel, and also in Berlin, maybe. But one of my favorite concerts was the last Mahler 9. I know I play this last time in Berlin, and that was with Heiting. This was a wonderful moment. Also with Petrenko, the Schmidt-Ford Symphony on the Proms. That I know also I play less times with Berlin Philharmonic on the Proms. Mm-hmm. So some moments, I have many moments that was important for me, or that was very nice. But one week in Berlin, was so thankful that I play in this moment in Berlin Philharmonic. That was, if we working together with the Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra. We working 1 week together, and that I never met before Winton. And then he was there, and we talking also with my very bad English. we talking a lot, and then I was so thankful that I can listening this band live, so very near. We play together a piece, And in this concert we play Petrushka.
Yes.
And so all members from this big orchestra from them from Lincoln Center was so friendly. This was, we have in this week a different word in the Philharmonic.
Yeah.
And this was maybe the beautifulest week in these 15 years what I play. I play not alone. Maybe Martin Kretz, I play 44 years, 45 years. For me was the 15 years enough. It was a good time. I have a good ambassador. I have also healthy my health in these 15 years. But this was the beautiful weeks.
Yeah, yeah. Matter of, I had Marcus Printup on
yeah.
a few weeks ago, and Wycliffe Gordon was on yesterday.
Oh,
so I know you know those guys really, really well. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your own practice. Can you kind of describe for people? And actually, I want to know, has this changed since you're away from the orchestra? But what is your warm up like now in your practice habits?
Yeah, the warm up is the same. I play my stem vocalise, and I beginning with some melodies that I check my feeling, and then I play a little manspiece for the exercises from Etude or from stamp or some melodies. Only I control the airflow, that I have not so many stops. The flow is there, and then I play the first exercises for stamp, slow and less quiet. But the second part in my warm-ups, but this is not warm-up, this is daily exercises, is maybe arpeggios. I play some arpeggios in 2 octaves and try to slow, and then I play some scales from Colin or other ones. Maybe this is one block, and then I working maybe every days or every weeks 2-3 times on the articulation, and also on the high register. So with bendings and try to hold the focus. But now I play only solo or chamber music, and I have not to play so loud to the orchestra. Yep. This is for my ambassador more confrontable. And I learn a lot of new pieces now. I not know which time I can play these pieces because COVID, but I enjoy the work with new pieces. I listening a lot of time Dokshitzer with his wonderful playing, and also, but my daily practice routine is the same. But if I teach, I cannot so lot of time practice. I play duets with my students, but yeah. Sometimes after 3-4 days teaching, I have to practice.
yeah, you have to practice. And and have you ever considered writing any books yourself? Is that any projects like that?
Yeah, in the first 2 years that I teach, I wrote a lot of exercises for my students, but the exercises is not only for me, it's Colin or Stamp or so. And now in the last weeks coming a book, so scale book from me out. Half the exercises is an old scales from Hungary. I play that. I try to write a little different in my mind, but now this book coming out, in for 2-3 weeks.
Oh,
This is a scale book.
is it, who publishes it?
It's Prim Verlag, and in Austria. Schager have these, and I have no book at home. I have in the school. Sorry.
Now, and when you warm up, are you still playing? Are you playing rotary still when you're warming up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have only a old Mono C trumpet, and I play only piston if I have a solo piece that I cannot play with a rotary. The changing now to the piston is very difficult.
Yeah. Are there pieces? What pieces would you play piston on?
I play Zimmermann concert with a piston, and I play some orchestra pieces, maybe Gershwin or Bernstein.
Mm-hmm.
But then I have to do practice. And the valve from my trumpets, from the C trumpets, was not very good. And sometimes I have problems also in concert. So if I can, I play with a rotary.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like the sound. And after 1 week, I can good playing with this.
Yeah. That's great. So we'll look for that book though. That's coming. You said it's coming out very soon, right?
Yes, it's now out.
Oh, it's now out. Okay.
Can you send a photo?
Okay, I'll put the photo on the Facebook page.
If you look on the Chagrin website, they have posted pictures of the book with little examples.
Yeah, also of my site, Gabor Tarkovi Trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
I put it also. This.
Yeah. Are there etudes that you find yourself coming back to a lot? Do you have favorite etude books? Like a Charlier or Arban, or what books do you prefer when you're working on etudes?
So Arban is the Bible.
Yes.
So Arban, you have everything in Arban, and I teach a lot of time for Arban. Arban is the basic. Mm-hmm. So, but I like also for orchestral articulation and sound is the Brandt Etude, mm-hmm. Böhme Etude, and also Charlier is okay. It is nice. Some Charlier is very difficult for the embouchure. Yeah. So maybe the first and second and third is okay, but after the fourth, some etudes for the students is killing.
Yeah. And
the etudes is not there that you kill you. It's good. It's there that you have an embouchure after. I play by Geiger some Charliers, and Geiger said me, oh, this is so difficult. Why is so difficult? This is etude. This is that you have embouchure after. Yeah, and I think the same. But I like also the Arban etudes, and if I was 18, 19, I play a lot of street music. I go on the street to Germany with my car, and I play on the places, maybe Munich, Salzburg, big places. I stay there alone, and I play maybe Arban variations alone. And I play every day to the 100 Deutschmark. This was a big money for me. So I play also Vocalise, I play Ave Maria, I play some pieces, but I play the Arban variations. And I play also today. If I practice for a little more stronger embouchure, that I play one variation with B flat, one variation with C. So it's important that you play music, that you have the feeling, okay, I play not only for half hour to playing, I play music. And for me, was the variation is very good. Well, you have vocalise, you have double song, you have triple song, you have everything.
Yeah.
And I practice a lot of time, also in summer now.
Yeah.
If I have a concert and I think, my embouchure is not enough, then one day I play all variations, and maybe next day I play the etudes. Maybe not all, but so one etude, and then I relax maybe 3-4 minutes, and next etude.
Do you?
And
Oh, go ahead.
yeah.
No, I was going to ask. Do you start your day on B flat or C trumpet?
B flat.
B flat.
And I play even more with B flat. So in the next quintet program, brass quintet program, I play only one piece with C. Yeah. I like to play more B flat, also for solos.
For solos. And do you keep, how often do you play piccolo, even if you, only when you have something coming up, or do you try to?
I am not a good piccolo player.
Oh, that's not true.
So I play every December Christmas oratorium.
I think Jack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's in your CDs, that too.
I am not. So I can play not so very high pieces. So I have very big tools, and I can play only with big manspiece. And this manspiece is too big. The rim is too big for piccolo.
Yeah.
I can learn to play higher with a piccolo, but it's so hard work. So one times I practiced for Brandenburg. This was so hard for me that I find nothing in the middle register. My sound was and then I stopped, and I called the orchestra. I can't play because the work was counterproductive to my orchestra work.
Yeah.
So if I play Brandenburg and next day I play a lot of gigs in the Mahler Fifth, so every colleague is not interesting for the Brandenburg. I have my money for the Mahler Fifth. So if I play Brandenburg, I play a lot of gigs in the Mahler Fifth. So every colleague is not interesting for.
How many? So did you? How many times have you done Brandenburg? Did you just do it once, or did you not do it? Never. Hey, no. Gabor, somebody wants to say hello to you. Where'd he go? Have you done Brandenburg? Did you just do it once, or did you not? Do it? Hey, Mike.
Hey, perfect. Yeah, I'm wearing the official, the right color shirt, man.
Yeah.
Hey, perfect. Gabor, man, I can't say, man, how much, I have so much admiration, respect for you in every way. And it's just, this is
also for me
wonderful to hear you talk like this, man. I mean, thank you so much for all of it. I've been listening from the beginning.
Thank you that you are here,
and I'm honored. This is perfect.
Jack, are you wearing a black shirt?
Respect, and I'm very lucky to see you.
Hopefully, when all this craziness is over, we get in the same place at the same time.
If we can, I come.
Or I come to you.
Yeah, thank you.
And you guys have both played Shostakovich 15 for Kurt Sanderling.
Yeah.
You played also?
Yeah, we played Shostakovich 15, and we also did Schubert 9. With the funny story with the Schubert 9, I remember he was very old. He was in his 80s when he came to see us. And he stood up there at the beginning of the rehearsal, silent. He says, Franz Schubert, so alone. For like 5 minutes, he's just saying this over and over. And finally, he just, okay, now we start. But he had this way of setting, of framing things and setting up the feeling. It was really very, very special. But I remember the Shostakovich 15 chorales. I remember he was very, very particular with the no vibrato and just the right volume and just the right feel.
Yeah. But I played that with him in Berlin Symphony Orchestra. Martin Kretzer played with Sanderling in Berlin Philharmonic, the same. Also, the brass play 40 minutes long, only chorale.
Mm-hmm.
This was
Yeah.
But this was also the first time that I played with Sanderling. After he know me little better, but it was not interesting. But the Bruckner 7 he was very friendly. I was okay. But
I wanted to ask you something, because you started talking a little bit about something that I, of course, also experienced very much as well, that, a conductor will ask you to do something and they'll challenge you to play something that maybe they don't understand is a little bit close to the edge or over the edge. And, of course, when you're in a situation, you're recording it, or it's a TV program, or it's an important, any concert. But how you gauged, then what kind of could you talk a little bit about the little things you would do depending how you felt to be able to make the adjustments to still give them what they want, but yet still be able to do this?
Word of Jesus.
So, if I play in the orchestra, I try to feel me quiet. So, if the conductors like some things from me, I try to feel me quiet. Also, I play with Muti many times Schumann second.
Mm-hmm.
And you're beginning to play and he was too loud. Okay, too loud. Okay, again. And then to Muti, I go in the break. And I learn a little Italian in the school, in the gymnasium. And I ask Muti, we have two possibilities. I play trumpet and I play my softest level. Or I try to play what I not can. Then you have mistakes. The choice is by you. And Muti tell me, really? It's like, yes. And I go. But in this time, I was 31. And I was beginner. But I think if he tell every day that we have to play more or less, this is not possible. And then from this time, have the Muti respect. But I was very friendly. But if Muti come to Berlin, before 2 years he was with Verdi Requiem. And he is very special with the pam, ta ta tam. So slower and baka. And I play with Muti this in Munich also, but he forgot. And he see me and before the solos, he's, no, now you play. And then I play and he tell me, he look me and I say, bacala. I tell him, bacala. And he was, okay.
Bacala.
So, Muti was the wrongest, but Marcel was also, you play a lot of time in Cleveland with Marcel.
No, I came after him. I came with Dochmani.
But Marcel was also, sometimes he have humor. And also in Berlin, sometimes we play maybe with Telemann. Telemann was sometimes angry. He come to Bruckner, we play maybe Forte. The first Bruckner with Telemann was Bruckner 5. We played the first chorale with Gabor. So, and he was, it's too loud, too loud. And then I sitting very quiet, and Georg, my second trumpet player, tell very loud, you know, this is no school orchestra. This is Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra. And then I was okay. And then Georg tell me, now we play mezzo forte. And we play all concerts mezzo forte. And he was, this, we play mezzo forte. We looks very nice. And after this, in every years, he was very friendly. But the fighting with the conductors, that was not my style, because we cannot win.
No, never.
When
Never.
we play and he play nothing. If a conductor conducting also wrong, that is no sound. And this was with Muti. This was in Berlin. Muti come in and give her one, but not nobody play. And one violin player, he's an Italian, said Muti, and this is the sound from the conductor. This was really, but I think I answered your question. Was your question in?
This is good. You can tell these stories. That's fine.
This is great, man. I mean, it's interesting because I'm exactly like you, Gabor. I mean, I want conductors to see me. I want them to see me smiling. Whatever you want, I give you what you want. But in my mind, I'm thinking, I know what I have to do. I also know what you want, and we find out where that comes together.
Yeah.
And there's always that process for me of knowing what will work and knowing what they want and trying to find where that overlap is and trying to find this. And you know, it's tricky, but I agree. The conductor will always get the last word. You will never win.
Yeah.
And the best thing always is to have the most positive relationship with all of them.
Yeah.
If you're friendly, if they trust you, with that trust, all of a sudden something goes wrong. They're like, yeah, you know what to do. You take care of it. But if they don't trust you, if they think you're an adversary, then they're listening and they're looking for a problem.
Yeah.
And then it's so much less stress.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many players don't understand that. They want to do this, and it's just, no, man, it's easy. Just play, and just everything is fine. And then if there's a problem, you go talk in private.
Yeah.
So
I fighting only, I think this was not fighting, but with Daniel Barenboim was the friendship not there. So, and I play never again, but Furtwängler Second Symphony is a crazy piece for trumpet. So I listening a recording with Chicago and Herzog, and there's a lot of solos. And I played this in my tri-year with Barenboim. I learned good the piece, and you have many solos alone, and one solo beginning very deep and go to the Cis, and but the solo beginning not on the first beat, so after the beat.
Yeah.
And Barenboim tell me in the rehearsal, so play. And I wait of the beat. And why you wait? Said me. It's like, I wait of the beat. And then he tell this. Okay, then I play. Then in the general rehearsal, the same joke. But I am not breathing. I wait, and he was again. And in the concert, he looks to the concertmaster and he give not a beat. And I wait. This was maybe 5 seconds. And also the colleagues was playing. I wait. And this was the beginning of our working together. And he was many times, if you have not the best feeling, then no. Also, with Barenboim was sometimes on the end that you think, okay, phew. But this was also my tactic to, okay, quiet, not fighting. We have no chance. But now I think the new generation, the conductors, was so much friendly.
Yeah.
As is the friendship or the collegiality is normal.
Yeah.
So before the conductors, I play 2 times with Scholti maybe.
Mm-hmm.
As was he conducting this, and I was a young player. I see in my brass band at home 4 is this and 3/4 is this, but by Scholti was every time this, and we play concert for orchestra. Mm. I cannot find the first. We listening the bassist. The bassist was also not together. So what is this? And then we playing it was not together. And then he killed the groups 20 minutes long with ta 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 ta. It was crazy. But this was normal. Mm-hmm. He conducted not clear, but only the musician is wrong. Not, and this was also Sanderling. If he conducted in the concert, this was nothing clear. He was very nervous and it was confused. And I think the new generation is friendly and also I think Petrenko is exact. Yeah. You can everything see and friendly and for music. Mm-hmm. So, but maybe the old ones was more deeper. So my old colleagues play with everyone. I play never with Karajan, never with Bernstein, but Georg and Martin said maybe the same style do Haitink. If you do a piano, this is quiet and very, very soft, very. But we don't know. Conductors can conducting maybe Gustavo or also the new ones go in this direction.
Yeah, I was going to ask you a little bit about the conductors you first saw versus the conductors you now see, and kind of how over your career. So you answered this. So in that, what were some of your favorite pieces to play with the Berlin Philharmonic? What were your favorite pieces or pieces that really had meaning in the group? I mean, because I know every group there's certain pieces that it's just like nothing can go wrong. It's just like it's I call it house tunes. It's just like there's certain pieces that certain orchestras play that are just it's untouchable.
Maybe the Mahler 2, Mahler 3, Mahler 9, Mahler 7. I play a lot of time in the 15 years. Maybe these symphonies. This was a Mahler 2nd with the trombones and with a wonderful tuba player with Puttkammer. This was every time what I think. Okay, this was good to practice in my childhood. Then I sitting in this place. I think Mahler 3rd Symphony was much joy in the orchestra, but from the 6 movements, I feel me so it was so important for me to play beautiful that I was nervous by me. I was not nervous for the orchestra.
Yeah.
I think if I have a mistake, I kill me. But this is so beautiful music. I can not have a mistake. And I have 2 or 3 times a mistake. I was so angry of me, but the colleagues was no Gabor, was nothing. But one slur or one note that was crazy. And then I tell Tamas a lot of time, I like not playing orchestra. I play post horn, but we change every times. If come next time, I play inside. So that's Mahler third was beautiful, but it was every time to fighting with me. But Mahler second was more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
It was never big stress. But I think in Berlin was the Mahler symphonies. But also if you play maybe a Meistersinger overture in Berlin, this is Wagner or Parsifal Prelude. We play that not a lot of time, but I played that extra only.
Yeah. You played with so many people who played for a very long time before you, who were there with Karajan and so many years before. So there's that link to the history. How much do you think does the orchestra play any different, or is that tradition still carry through, or is it a little of both, do you think? I mean, how differently did they think they play versus, maybe 35, 40 years ago?
Maybe Martin and Georg played, Martin beginning to play 71.
Yeah.
And Georg 77 play in the last time in his life with Karajan, and also with the big conductors, with Leinsdorf and with Bernstein, and he played a very good style. If I come in the Berlin Philharmonic, my first project was big project was Mahler 6 with Abbado. This was recording, and I played before big symphonies also in Munich, but in Berlin we play longer because the hall is bigger, and we played one solo, end of the first movements, padim padam, padim padam, and then come first padim padam, padim padam, and Georg played that babim padam, babim padam, the short notes double loud. And I looked at, what is this? In this moment, I think this is not so musicality, but this is maybe old style. And I play padam padam. Then I listen in the recording, and Georg is pabam pabam, pabam pabam, and me is mama, mama. And then I know, aha, you can learn. So, and this was the style from the trumpet section. He played in this hall the perfect sound and perfect articulation. And this coming maybe from Karajan time. But after coming Abbado, and Abbado was completely different. His idea was a light orchestra. And Abbado fighting a lot of time with the trumpet groups in this time. But I beginning with Simon, and Simon was very friendly. If we play a little too much short notes, he said me, Gabor is maybe too German. It's like, but I am Hungarian. but with the colleagues was wonderful, because these colleagues coming from this line from Karajan or from the old school and very good articulated school, but now is a different section, and Martin and Georg is not there, and that was in my last 2 years. Martin comes sometimes to to substitute, but Georg not. We have a good friendship. We drinking sometimes beer together, but we play not together. And then I missed the both colleagues because I learned so lot. If I was a little wrong, if you play some solos, you cannot listening you outside. But this colleague said me, you are a little high there, I think. You can play more there or listening on the flute. This is a little deeper. Or I have the question, is good? Yeah, this is good. Okay, then I was more quiet. But you know, one first trumpet is only so good that his colleagues. If you have a good ambassador and you good ideas and you have not the optimal good colleagues, you cannot play your level. Mm-hmm. And so I am so thankful for my colleagues in my career that he support me all my years, also for Reutlingen. And this was a luck. This was a big luck. We have so many orchestras that this is fightings and this is not the climb. But this is I talking from these weeks with Winton in Berlin, and I see the friendship and the respect and the musicality from the musician from this band, from Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra. And now we have a good friendship, and I listen in many concerts. In this quality that he play, and in this respect, if you have a symphony orchestra, this is a wonderful band. So it is for me so good to see. It's possible.
Yeah.
With respect and with playing and with the musicality. Yeah. And that was also a little the feeling for me in Berlin, that with the old colleagues and also with conductors, and I have many friends. I miss not the playing in Berlin Philharmonic, I miss the friends. So we have some parties and then, but I play a lot. I think I play enough. So, and I am very, very quiet that I play not better on the end but in Germany you cannot play and cannot teach. This is two different contracts, and you have to finish. And then I finish now really the playing. I like not substitute, because then you practice for one Mahler symphony 2 months, or this is not a good way, because teaching 100% teaching is 100% head from teaching, and playing is a little different. I do that 1.5 year long together, and it was difficult sometimes. But I am very thankful for the years in Berlin.
No, it's wonderful. And Mark, I'm sorry to just I hopped on here and I'm just having a nice talk with my friend Gabor. So I mean,
of course, I don't think anybody objects to this at all.
I hope we meet one time together with Winton.
I would love that, because I know he's
tell me many stories with you and study together, and
yeah. And when I spoke with him, with you, and I would love that very much. I love Winton, and it'd be fabulous. But no, just hearing you talk about all of this is just it's so wonderful, and I hope that everyone listening has really been listening carefully, because I've learned a lot, and it's just it's nice to talk to somebody who there are very few people that we can talk together like we are, that there's not much I have to say, and you just nod your head and smile because you know exactly how I feel. So
thank you.
That's very appreciated. I mean all the stuff you said, it's really just so wonderful.
And Gabor, just so you know, Marcus and Kenny Rampton were watching.
Really?
Yes. And was and Mick Mulcahy as well from Chicago Symphony. So I'm sure, and I'm sure there's so many others that I missed, because I'm trying to do everything.
So-
But everybody's
Yes.
so glad to see you on here and hear you again.
you.
Yeah, and hopefully once this is all done, you'll come to New York at some point, and I'll want to.
Yeah, I hope also, but now is only Europe to travel is difficult. So
Gabor,
by in Hungary you have 14 days quarantine. So we have some concerts now in Europe. The travel is only with car, and this is also difficult. I hope that it's possible in the.
Gabor, the last concert I saw was you in Toronto.
Oh yeah,
Before COVID.
yeah.
That was the last concert I attended, was your recital in Toronto, and then nothing. I haven't been to a single one since.
Yeah, I played now before 2 weeks in a master class. I do a master class in Hungary, and the master class was for 4 days. But after the third day, we have to finish because one guy have fever. Also, I have fever, and these trumpet players, students have positive, and I have a different sickness. But if you have fever, is crazy. So you cannot go to doctor, never come to testing. I sitting at home and I read in the internet what I can have now. Okay, my stomach is not good. Then this, well, it was crazy. I call Hans Ganch. The best is we learn to operation self, because if you have fever, you can nothing do it. It was crazy. So my luck was after 5 days, I have no fever. Then I go to the testing. With fever, you cannot go. And the test was negative. This was a big luck. But after, that was the reason for this masterclass. And the first day I played a concert with piano and with brass ensemble. And in this concert was 215 people. And in Hungary was no with mask, and this was a dangerous situation. But the young trumpet players from what I not know was every days in the parties and discotheques, and so Corona is again there, and I hope we can meet soon.
Yeah. Do you remember the bar I took you to in New York? McSorley's? Do you remember the bar I took you to? I took him to McSorley's.
Yeah. With the very old walls.
Yeah, with the dust everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very old.
Yeah, in this week we play Mahler second, I think.
Yes. You played Mahler second, and then there was Bruckner 9, I think, was on that week as well. And you did a master class at Juilliard that week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I have one last question for Gabor, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah, go.
All right, Gabor. So tell us about the picture behind your right shoulder on the wall.
Here?
Yeah. What is this?
This is a picture. This is mother from my wife, mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law.
Yeah, I have many pictures in mine. This is a very nice picture. She this.
Oh, sweet.
And I have maybe in my the parents from my wife are painting artistics, and mother was also write books, and everyone are paintings.
Yeah, no, I've just been staring at this for over 2 hours and wondering what that was. So yeah, no, that's beautiful, man. Thank you. Also,
Yeah.
Also, I'm glad when you got up that you were like sitting in your underwear in a nice shirt or something. Good.
Yeah.
I'm relieved. Not to say that I'm not going to say whether I'm wearing anything or not, but we'll leave it at that.
we should all show our pants.
He is evening, so I teach today from 9 to to 6, and then I go with a bicycle to the Philharmonic, and I have a trio rehearsal, brass trio, and I not know. I forget it a little tonight, and then okay, tonight, but for New York Times, and then I call 2030 Jack. Is the interview in 30 minutes or 90 minutes? I was with bicycle. It is 20 minutes from the Philharmonic home. So then we play again the program, and I come home, and I was completely. It is here 30 degrees.
Oh wow!
And then I was okay. It is 10, and I call with my wife. My wife is in Hungary, so we have a. I am. Very proud that we have a so good evening, but in the beginning, the evening, I was so stressful. So okay, and internet, and I am not a technical freak, and so okay, if it's everything is good, because I yesterday for Hungary to Berlin, so.
Listen, I'll let you guys finish, but thank you for letting me hop in. And Gabor, again, I cannot say how much, so much respect, and admiration, man.
You are there.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Very soon we get together.
Thanks, Michael.
All right. Best to your wife and family.
Also from my side.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
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 So, Gabor, I think that was a great way to end with Michael there. I guess the last question I had is, when do you think Jack Burt will start playing etudes?
So he said.
Do you think Jack should learn some etudes?
Ja, maybe. Was hast du noch nicht gespielt? Was hast du gespielt? Jason die Bach.
Yeah, that let's keep that. There's a few Brants I could never do, and of course half of the Charlier book.
Yeah. But I think Håkan finish also his.
No, he's starting again. He's gonna do number 16 today or tomorrow.
Okay.
But Jim Wilt in Los Angeles, and I would like to point out that he's probably editing his. Ours were always one take. He's
really
multiple cameras. He never has to empty his spit. You know, he plays a 6-minute etude. That's a Yamaha. Yamaha makes this fantastic trumpet where there is never any spit in it. You can play a Charlier for 6 minutes and no spit. So it's magic. No, he started up again, and they're really, I mean, it's great. I mean,
so I have a big respect about this, because if I beginning to teach in the COVID time, with my students, we recorded a lot of things. So, and I have also recorded everything. This was very, very strange. This was, I sitting there with the etudes maybe 2 days. So maybe with the third bousquet. Oh no, again. No. This was, and we was in my country house. This is a not so big house, and my boys was also there. And my boy asked me, Papa, what do you think with that? So I play from beginning to afternoon to the evening. So, and then we finished the etude recording. But it is big respect, really.
Yeah.
So, but you have a lot of time.
Also, I had back problems.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had an operation. So during this whole time, I could not stand up. I had trouble walking. I was like a 90-year-old man. So sitting was the only thing that did not hurt.
Oh.
So my only choice was to play my trumpet. And yeah, because I literally couldn't stand up and play for a minute without my back. I had a susta pushing on the nerve. So it's gone. I'm better.
For
Yeah.
people that don't know, Jack recorded how many etudes?
185.
185 etudes. If people aren't
Really?
friends with you on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, Jim though is now at 160. Jim Wilt, Los Angeles, but he said yesterday he has 40 stored that he's already recorded. He just releases them one a day, so he's way past me. But all he wants to do is go back to work and not have to do etudes anymore. He wants to play.
Yeah. But respect. This is really.
Well, Gabor, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
Everybody's look forward to seeing it, and Jack, thank you for the help, and I'm glad Michael came in. I mean, so many people were saying hello. I saw Gail Williams popped up a minute ago from Chicago, and just so much respect for you over here, and hopefully this someday we'll all be healthy and you can come back over.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for the help, Jack.
No problem.
And greetings and all that we this little interview. So, and hope see you soon.
Liebe Grüße an alle meine Bekannten in Berlin.
Sag ich.
Ja. Tschüss.
So.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.